Beard.
From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 303 of Fans Talk Pro Wrestling, and on this week's episode, we're going to preview and predict this Sunday's WWE Fast Lane. With us, as always, is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
And Nick. Say hello, Nick.
Howdy.
And from the other side of the world, Sean. Say hello, Sean.
G'day, mate.
Now, I don't think it's completely the other side of the world. I think that's just what we tell ourselves here in America. Everyone's like...
It is the longest international flight in the world, though, from Sydney to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that's... You got to say that's the other side of the world. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, but...
I'm on the better side. You got to remember that. I'm on the better side.
The opposite side. You know, the grass isn't always... The grass isn't always greener on the opposite side of the world. That's what I've always heard.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But who's got more
Hanging
convicts?
above his head.
Who's got more convicts, you or us?
Ooh.
Historically, yeah,
continues.
like historically or like today.
Today, I would say.
That is totally us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's us.
Say, it have to be you guys.
So they just breeded it out. All right.
America #1.
Yeah.
We've had some pretty unorthodox methods to try and breed everything out. Like there was the White Australia policy, which was pretty hard. You'd think you guys have done some bad things. That was pretty bad. We just don't. We keep it quiet. Yeah, we were pretty horrible people. So yeah,
You said it, not me. All right. For those
We
who
both
have
got it from England.
For those who have pledged $5 a month or more of support in the Squared Circle of Trust, Nick, Joe, Sean, and I will continue the conversation, talk some TNA and NXT, as well as your topics that you've posted in the Slack community. Again, to show your support, go ahead over to squaredcircleoftrust.com and pledge your support today. All right, so guys, before we get into the WWE Fast Lane, the card, which we're going to be fully previewing and predicting, let's talk about Raw. What happened this week on Raw that's worth talking about?
Kevin Owens
Not
is the
much,
IC
moving
champ
on.
again.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually decent. A fatal 5-way happened with Dolph Ziggler. We had Ambrose, obviously, Kevin Owens, Stardust, and Tyler Breeze. And yeah, it was really good. And surprisingly, the weak link of the match I didn't expect was Tyler Breeze. I thought he was really under par for what he usually was, which was surprising. But yes, that was a good match.
Yeah, that was actually, I think one of the better points of Raw, just because it's a bunch of guys you get to see work together who, I mean, you wouldn't, there's a lot of, there was a lot of heels attacking heels, face attacking face. I mean, it was a nice mix. This was mostly heels, but yeah, I mean, it was a great mix of competitors and a 5-way. You don't hear of a 5-way much anymore. Not without paying a lot of money and...
It's free on the internet, man. Come on.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about the whole Big E Mark Henry thing that took place?
A lot of flash, not a lot to it. Apparently, Mark Henry just bruised a rib.
Did you say flash or flesh? Because either way, I think it's a lot of meat in
yes.
the ring.
Before the mishap, I think that was a fairly decent match. Power versus power. Big E's got the juice. Mark Henry ain't got it anymore. And, I think it would have been all right had Mark Henry not hurt himself again.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do was to get Big E more of a spotlight, and they succeeded in that. It was a shame what happened to Mark Henry, but, good to see Mark Henry still trying to step up and keep up with Big E, because Big E is pretty fast and agile around the ring, so good on them. I think, regardless of the injury, I think they succeeded in what they wanted to do. So...
Yeah, I think really what makes it hard, though, is just it's Mark Henry. It's a guy that we've always wanted to see, like, big things happen with. And for some reason, whether it's a big injury or a little injury, like there's always an injury there that stops him. And this one really sucks just because we're so close to WrestleMania, and he's stated, previously that this is going to be his final WrestleMania. So hopefully it doesn't take him out, too long.
I think you might not see him on TV until the Battle Royal. And I'd be fine with that. I think that's a good way if he wins the Battle Royal. It's a great send-off for him. And I think if he's in the Battle Royal, he will win. I don't see why he wouldn't. Great little send-off. He gets the trophy. He gets to take lots of photos. And, yeah, like, he could have done so much better, but he didn't get good in the ring until the later point of his career. Around that time when he did the salmon suit and the fake retirement stuff. See, around then it was good.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that he didn't get good in the ring until recently. I think he didn't really get good on the mic until recently. Like that's when he started being able to really be compelling, and maybe it's just the character transition from the jokey big smiley dude to someone who, can be really fierce and angry and, vocal about it.
Yeah, look, and regardless, I think you're right. Awesome. I think he's had a great career. I think he's the longest active roster member. I could be wrong by saying that. I think he is, though. I
think you're right. I think he has been there longer than Kane.
I think, active... Yeah, he's longer than Kane. I don't know if you wanted to count Undertaker, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But Undertaker kind of doesn't count now.
No.
I think David Gill agrees. As sad as it was that Mark Henry was injured, he kind of had it coming. You don't turn on the herd.
Booty hole.
Those were the world's strongest words coming from Kofi.
They're not caring anymore. I think they're just saying what they want to say, and I'm totally happy with it.
So, real quick clarification. Character-wise, name-wise, Mark Henry has been there since 96. Kane has been there since 95, but technically... No, I'm sorry, 97. But technically, he's been there since 95 because... he was Isaac Yankem. He did fake Diesel or whatever. What was the other thing that he did? So,
I think it was that and then Kane.
Yeah, so it's debatable. It sort of. He's been there longer than Kane. All right, cool. What else? What else happened? I heard the Dudley Boys. Something about the Dudley Boys. They retired using the tables.
That's
what does that
say?
What does that mean? Does that matter to you guys?
That was an announcement on SmackDown, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's like when Jericho decided he'd start coming out in suits and just not play with the crowd. It's the Dudleys are known for putting people through tables. You know what? They're going to be the heels and not do what the fans want. It works.
And there's a good story as well. Their reasoning for doing it is good. We want to be known for the Dudley Boys, not for tables. And the more you chant about tables, the less we're going to do it, and we're not going to do it anymore. It's, as you said, Joe, it's playing off the crowd and going against them, which is great heelisms, but it's also a fair enough point. I'd see the logic in them doing what they're doing. We want to be known for being the Dudley Boys, not for tables. Fair enough.
Yeah, Bubba's always been a great heel. Specifically with his psychology, not only can you understand why he's doing something, it makes sense logically. I'd be pissed off too if something I did got way more over than me. They don't chant for Bubba, they don't chant for Devon unless Bubba gets that chant started. They always chant "We want tables" or ECW, one of which is dead, one of which never lived. So, it totally makes sense. And I'm digging what they're doing to the Usos, and they keep calling them out and pointing out Usos are hurt. We put them on the shelf.
So I have to ask, I have to ask: is there any chance that they are transitioning them, specifically Bubba, to be more of like that bully character? Do you think WWE will ever allow him to go into that form?
If he's going to be there long term, they have to. He's already incorporating elements. I don't know if he'll ever full on become Bully Ray, like they'll actually start calling him Bully Ray. But I think he's going to be that character regardless of what they do.
I think Bubba Ray, when he was a heel in WWE before TNA, he was a pretty good heel. He was pretty awesome then. And I think for him to fully embrace that Bully Ray style character, I think there'll be influences, but you'll still see Bubba Ray being Bubba Ray. And you've got Devon being, Reverend Devon and Testify every 2 seconds now. So I think they're just going to develop from there and go back to their roots of, because they were pretty good heels back then, so I think that's what's going to happen. But I don't think you're going to see that full embrace from TNA just because what's TNA to WWE? That's the first thing that Vince thinks.
Sure. I mean, it's not the TNA, thing, but it is the character thing. And, I think when he transitioned to Bully, it became better. It became more realistic and more, compelling almost. So, all right. What else? What else happened on Raw?
Transitioning from the Dudleys, they were used in a rather interesting way, I think, as Heyman's attack dogs, essentially, against Roman and Ambrose. And that's setting up for a match on SmackDown, which I think is really neat. It makes you wonder if maybe Heyman did reach out, and there's going to be a partnership moving forward.
Or they could just link. They could just link history as they always do. ECW, Heyman.
But the idea of Heyman having more people, I think, is something that we've all wanted to see. Like, yes, him being the advocate for Brock Lesnar is good, but when he was with Punk, that addition, I think, was really good. It was a good combination. When we saw Cesaro partner up with him, I think a lot of people were excited. It failed. The same thing when Axel was partnered with him. A lot of people were excited, even though that failed. So, I think, to me, hopefully, this is like something that they're really going to focus on and put more effort into than they did, the last two guys that he worked with.
Yeah, well on the Taz show, Taz mentioned that Heyman only had the intention of being with Brock Lesnar. He had no intention of being with anyone else. It was a sort of a 2-part deal to keep that attraction thing. So, I'd like to believe that because I think it keeps Heyman being an attraction as well. People are excited to see him on the mic, and as much as we'd like to see him diversify, it hasn't worked in the past, and maybe they've learned. So I'd sort of support that.
I don't know though. Ishmael's saying in the live chat that the Dudley Boys don't need Paul Heyman. And sure, totally agree. But just the idea of someone else being there full time, therefore Paul Heyman is there full time. I think that's attractive to a lot of fans.
But do you get burnt out on Paul Heyman at that point?
No. How? When? Wait, when have you ever gotten burnt out by Paul Heyman?
He is the one, or in 21-1. Yeah, just the entire.
Okay. Did you see his promo last night? It was awesome.
No,
he didn't do that.
But that's
it was awesome.
But it's sporadic Heyman that keeps him fresh. Constant Heyman, I think, eventually would get tired. And then they do some type of stupid storyline where he turns on Brock Lesnar. You remember that one? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was Vince. Vince interjecting.
It was Vince all along.
I don't really see a full-on partnership between Heyman and the Dudleys. I think this is just going to be, if not a one-time thing, then it's going to be a really loose relationship because they do have all that history, and it's easy to draw that sort of connection, but, I don't see anything approaching the sort of bond that Lesnar and Heyman have. I don't think we ever will see that with anybody else than Heyman.
It's a true bromance.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
What happened in the main event? I left the last 15 minutes of Raw. Does anyone know?
probably set up for Wyatt's versus assortment of big guys.
Kane, Big Show, and Henry, right?
Ryback.
No, Ryberg. He called himself Ryberg.
What I caught of it was the big men were giving choke slams. Kane and Big Show were giving choke slams to Luke Harper, and as the Wyatts retreated up the ramp, Kane hit the pyro, so the stage erupted, and I think that's where they went off the air. Just pushing that match, which, if that's how you're closing out Raw, not with your main event content, does that seem awkward to anybody else? I mean, I'm glad they're giving it time, but wouldn't you have given the main event?
If it wasn't Go
Lesnar's
Home,
going to be there on SmackDown, so I think that's where they're going to have their real Go Home show. Like, they're actually placing importance behind SmackDown again. So I think that's what they're doing. But I completely agree with you. That was a garbage way to end Raw.
I mean, it could have been Paige yelling at somebody again. That was it Paige Nikki? It was one of the worst where they, like, right before a pay-per-view, they ended the show with them doing the contract signing.
You talking about Charlotte?
I don't know.
Was it Charlotte?
Charlotte and Paige?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Charlotte and Paige. I'm sorry. With the your brother should never have been, or whatever. Yeah, garbage.
Oh, your baby brother didn't have much fight in him.
Yeah, that.
I thought that was good.
Man, that was a good segment to end a show.
Yeah. But on the whole grand scheme, it seemed like a weaker thing to end it on going into the pay-per-view.
That was a lot better than two old dudes and somebody that a lot of people are turned off by.
What was Vince doing?
To finish for his show, that's what he was doing.
No, I think because they're realizing that SmackDown's got a lot more appeal at the moment because of, I think, just the commentary and the actual whole show is better at the moment. I think it's just that 3-hour curse is hurting them more as well. Even though I do have a massive gripe with SmackDown and the audio engineering they're doing to the crowd. They're like, every pop and boo is like the loudest cheer ever and the loudest boo, and then you look at the crowd and they're not moving.
Hey man, you weren't there. You don't know.
Okay, if anyone has been to a SmackDown taping, tell me how loud the crowd is, and does it reflect what was actually the same audio that's been used week to week? Just saying.
I will happily take that piped in audio if I can keep getting this level of commentary and this level of writing for a show. Apparently, I need to thank Road Dogg for that. All accounts say that he's the one that's been writing lately, and man, it's good.
It's really scary to see how bad, like, it's making Raw look so bad. Like, the difference is so big. And the wrestling fan, the casual fan, is also getting smarter. Like, there's only so much I can take of JBL being horrible on commentary. And then you can just have Ronaldo and King going nuts at each other. I think that's great. And King being a bit of a heel, even better. He's not being over the top. I think, it's fantastic. Like, Raw still has its good points, but they can't keep me gripped for 3 hours anymore. They have been better than they were in the off season. No, they don't have an off season, but in the, towards December, it was very painful to watch. Now it's okay for a couple of hours, and then you have a main event of Braun Strowman versus the Big Show.
Yeah, just real quick, the 3-hour Raw has always sucked. It always sucked just because it's just so long, especially after the night after a pay-per-view. But you also have to...
3-hour Raw was good when it was a special thing, and they only did it once in a while.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
Just to throw a clarification.
But at the same time, you also have to look at the roster depth, and we do have a lot of holes in that as far as all the people that are out that would have been in that spot, would have been a big piece of Raw. So without them, just considering that fact, just the idea that Raw is still going and is still, producing halfway decent episodes, I think is a good sign for WWE.
How much of a knife's edge is that, though? They used every healthy member of their roster that's not suspended, or... I mean, they had Ryder on Raw. That's bottom of the barrel for them. As much as I enjoy Ryder and what he's been doing lately, like, they never put that guy on TV. So they're in pretty dire straits.
I think they did need, an enhancement talent to, they could put over. And I think Ryder's a good choice for that, to go against the Outcast and to lose. Because it doesn't hurt him at all.
Hey,
doesn't change his stock at all.
Speaking of the social outcasts, how have they been doing? Because again, I don't watch Raw, so I don't know. But I mean, are they succeeding in some way?
Well, yeah. Well, Heath Slater won against Zack Ryder.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about, like, as far as that group goes, are they getting the time that we've all wanted them to get?
Yeah,
and doing well.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't say doing exactly well with it. I mean, Nick and I covered this on the previous, one of the last couple episodes. It's a little rough. I think they're still trying to find their groove, but at least they're getting the time.
It's just like how the New Day came up, though. I think just give them time, and when we get used to it, and the jokes and the chemistry will only get better. And I think they're funny now. There's some funny things that they do, so they'll get over. I have no doubt.
Yeah, I just feel like they're trying to rush it to the New Day status. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's like what Team Bad tried to do with the whole Unity thing. They were trying to be, very New Day-esque as well, and then they realized it wasn't going to work because Sasha was better than all of them. So the other two, I should say.
Well, and we don't need, fake, non-genuine New Day representations up there. Like, New Day, if we just got New Day, the entire show would be fine.
The New Day Raw. The Raw Day.
Have those dudes commentate.
Yeah.
Without JBL, Cole, and Saxton. Just those three.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
They can keep Saxton.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Only if he stays in his role as being the guy that gets made fun of the entire time.
Well, Xavier likes Saxton.
True.
He's got one fan.
I just can't stand JBL anymore. I don't mind Cole. Just JBL is just. I'm at my wit's end with him. I just think he's a really bad heel commentator. It's just there's nothing good. But then he goes good all of a sudden. He'll just go, "Yep, shut up, Byron. You're ugly." But these guys are really nice and talking about baby faces, and it doesn't make sense. There's no consistency. Just leave, JBL. Just leave.
All right, let's move on from Raw. Let's talk about WWE Fast Lane. That's why we are here. We're going to preview the entire card. I'm going to run down what we have right now, and then we're going to go through every single match, give our predictions. Everyone in the live chat, you guys do the same thing. And yeah, let's do it. In the kickoff match, we're going to get the U.S. Championship on the line. Kalisto versus ADR in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The New Day is going to be on the Cutting Edge Peep Show at some point. Ryback, Big Show, and Kane versus the Wyatt family. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Naomi and Tamina. AJ Styles versus Jericho versus The Miz. Usos versus the Dudley Boys. Kevin Owens defends the Intercontinental Championship against Dolph Ziggler. Charlotte defends the Divas Championship against Brie Bella. And in the main event, we have Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns, and the winner will go on to face Triple H at WrestleMania 32 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So that's the card that we have right now. It's possible that we'll get another match here. I mean, probably not, though. This is probably it. So, out of these matches, what match are you most looking forward to, guys? Nick?
It's got to be the main event for me. It's the only title match on the card that I really care about, to be honest.
Well, it's not technically a title match. It's a number one contender match.
The closest thing to a title match. So,
well, we got the IC and the Divas Championship on the line.
I don't care about a Ziggler match.
The hater, the Ziggler hater.
It's Ziggler, though.
They've been
And
pulling off
Charlotte
great
and Brie-
matches.
Well, Charlotte and Brie, I don't care about, especially after the segment on Raw. There are not two worse talkers in the Divas division right now than those two, and you put them together and have them just throw out words at each other like they're in molasses. It's painful, it's slow, it's excruciating, and it's not going to be a great match. Brie's going to phone it in because she's retiring in the summer. So, the shorter it is, the better, to be honest. But as far as what I am looking forward to, the main event, that's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. I've loved the way they built this matchup, especially between Ambrose and Lesnar. Those two have achieved a level of heat I didn't think was possible, given the way they've been using Ambrose. And like I was saying last week, the way they're building Ambrose up as the Iron Man, I will reiterate again, I want to hear somebody call him Iron Dean Ambrose just once. And the way they tease that Reigns and Ambrose are perfectly willing to throw everything they've got at each other, the way Ambrose tried to hit Dirty Deeds on Reigns. I enjoy the way they're building the tension between everybody involved.
Yes, it's not bad what they're doing. It hasn't fully hooked me. For me, I'm stuck between Kevin Owens, Ziggler, and AJ Styles versus Jericho versus Miz. I'm excited to see. Miz has been doing great work. Jericho's been doing consistent work.
Passable.
It's been consistent no matter what level it is. And then AJ's been doing well.
Phenomenal. Some say.
Yeah, I would say he's in the top 3 of phenomenal. Maybe even 1. No,
I see what you did there.
Jesus. One stupid joke works. That one doesn't. Come on. But no, I mean, I think those guys will have a solid match because I think all 3 of them would work well together. And then the Kevin Owens Ziggler match. Ziggler can still work. Owens is just top heel contender, and he's firing on all cylinders. So I'm right between those matches.
Yeah, I think looking at the card, I think Ziggler and Owens have had really good matches on Raw. I think without the ad breaks, it'll be a lot easier to tell the story. And to be fair, with as many matches as there are on the card, we're only going to get a couple of longer matches. So for quick matches, I think it's a pretty decently stacked card. I think you'll probably see AJ, Jericho, and Miz as your opening bout of the pay-per-view after the pre-show. But I could be wrong. I think that with the 2 out of 3 falls match, that'll change things a little bit. Yeah, you got to say, yeah, the main event. But AJ Styles, everyone wants to see AJ Styles go for it. And The Miz has been really good lately. So all of a sudden, he's actually decided he's good in the ring again. He's always been great on the mic, but his ring work's been fantastic as well. So, yeah, it's one of those shows where the card isn't that fantastic, but it has potential to be really good amongst the bad things like Ryberg, my favourite guy in the world, and Big Show and Kane versus the Wyatt family is going to be, toilet break match, and I think it'll only go for 5 minutes. So, like that, I'm not that excited. Usos Dudley Boys kind of feels like it's just a heat builder, but, I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be better than I expect. I'm trying not to be cynical, but the card doesn't show that, apart from the main event, that's the only thing that has me asking questions. So, we'll see.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start with the first match. The kickoff show is going to feature Kalisto versus ADR in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Let's talk about overall build, what's your thoughts of it, and then we'll go into predictions. So, Joe, what do you think about this match?
Well, I'm mixed. I like the idea of a 2 out of 3 falls match. I don't think we do enough of them. Based on that itself, I think it should be on the main card because it's something different. Kalisto and ADR, I think, is just phoning it in, and they're trying to book him to be the strong guy, which is fine. He's a bigger guy, but the stomp off the top rope, it bothers me. So I'm hoping that Kalisto is going to be taking the win here. ADR just, he's just phoning it in until I think his contract's over. It's the way it comes across to me.
So predictions.
Right,
Who wins?
I said Kalisto.
Kalisto, okay. What about you, Nick?
I'm going with Kalisto as well. I figure he's going to retain and end this thing with Del Rio. I'm right there with you, Joe. Del Rio doesn't want to be there. It feels like he's doing it for the money. And I've enjoyed the way they built up this match, trading the title back and forth the way they have. I think this is one instance where hot potatoing the title does work in everyone's favor. If only to establish Kalisto as a legitimate singles competitor. With that said, I'll be glad when this match is over, simply because I want Kalisto to move on to bigger and better things.
Okay, well, for me, I'm going with ADR. I am going to be the only one who's doing this, I have a feeling. And it's simply because of this cruiserweight thing that's coming. And I think Kalisto will be a showcase for that. I don't think he needs the US title, and I think that it'll go to ADR temporarily, and then to lose it. So they can have a bigger match for him at Mania. I'm going to go against the grain and say ADR. Meanwhile, with this stomp thing he does, it's a violent move, I think we'd all agree. How is that allowed and the curb stomp was banned?
Well,
I imagine because it's so contrived and stupid that no one believes it could actually hurt somebody. Not the way a curb stomp to the head could.
And the curb stomp definitely gained in popularity with a lot of the general populace from like the American History X. The curb stomping and that. It's got the impression it gives.
Yeah, okay. I thought I'd just ask the question. Everyone was thinking it.
And there's your fucking answer. No.
I need an adult.
All right, so we have 2 votes for Kalisto, 1 vote for ADR. I'm gonna go. Well, wait before I say mine. I will say everyone in the live chat seems to be on the Kalisto side. Just throwing it out there.
You're all jerks.
I'm also gonna go with Kalisto.
See, the vote for ADR it makes sense only because of the League of Nations and the U.S. title. But we've gone in that ad nauseum in past episodes. So.
You're all idiots. When I'm right, it's all right. Yeah. I will take all of your apologies in written format.
That's fine.
I'm just letting you know. Thank you.
Like I'm going to take the time to write it out. Like I'm going to leave a paper trail. Come on.
Next match, we have Ryback, Big Show, and Kane taking on the Wyatt family. That's all of the Wyatts except for Bray. So everyone not with the last name of Wyatt. Who you guys got?
I'm going with the Wyatts, just because Ryback, Big Show, and Kane. They've already dismantled them, and if it was WrestleMania, I could see going the other way. There's no reason for the Wyatts to take a loss going into the biggest pay-per-view of the year. They're the ones that are going to be watched. Nobody gives a crap about Big Show and Ryback. Kane, I still give a crap. So yeah, Wyatts.
Yeah, I feel like this is just the same booking strategy that they used for the Shield. Just put 3 guys together and have them get knocked down. Ryback, Big Show, and Kane are good talents for that. I also figured that this will not be the only appearance the Wyatts will be making on this show, so I figure a win here sets them up well for an appearance later on in the show.
Man, look at that. Look at that tease. Look at that tease right there. What about you, Sean?
That's what they call a hook. Yeah.
That's showmanship, folks.
Yep. We deliver the entertainment here. No, it's going to be a really quick and bland match. I don't think any of us will remember the match afterwards. I think for Big Show and Kane, they can lose to anyone and heel turn or babyface turn as much as they like, and nothing will really hurt them. Ryback, on the other hand, it's good to see him have to put in this position because he's losing stock. So I'm happy with that. So yes, Wyatt family for the win in less than 5 minutes.
By the way, I don't know if any of you took a listen to the Stone Cold podcast episode with Big Show.
How long ago was it?
The one on the network?
Yeah, I feel like it was just on the network, yeah.
Then no.
Big Show said that he wasn't going to retire for another 2 years. Do you believe that? Like, that sounds crazy.
Hey, you can not work and not be retired.
But
I believe he believes it.
yeah,
I don't think his body will hold out that long.
I hope not.
Personally,
Like,
he's going to be an extended
Okay. The Great Khali went for how many years longer than he should have? All of it?
I was going to say, when did he start?
He's an attraction. Like a 7-foot guy who's that heavy is like, even to see him in real life. If he can go around 2 years and just knock out punch, Heath Slater, people will enjoy seeing that for a couple of years, and then he can retire. They have someone for the Hall of Fame, for that year. Easy. I think 2 more years is realistic. As much as he's not going to be doing any big angles, he'll just be around.
Yeah, sign that dude to a Legends contract.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm also going to go with the Wyatt family. The live chat is pretty much in agreement with that. Next up, we have Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus Naomi and Tamina.
Yeah. Sasha and Becky is the team to go with. I don't see it going any other way because even if Sasha and Becky post-match get into it and then, have some interaction with Charlotte or something like that, that's where I think they're going for WrestleMania. So definitely Sasha and Becky. I mean, the fact that Sasha's better than Naomi and Tamina combined is bold words, but I think she's got more talent than both of them. And yeah, we're gonna see the destruction of Team Bad, as it were, not complete because you'll see Tamina and Naomi together still, but the Team Bad as it was formed is now broken.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be Sasha Banks and Becky who win. You can have Naomi and Tamina still be a tag team. That'll be a good heel tag team, but they'll sort of disappear until post-Mania, I think. I think the match will end cleanly, and then afterwards you might have a Charlotte run in or Sasha and Becky fight each other to hopefully set up that triple threat for Mania. That's what we're all hoping for, I think. But yeah, look, I think another short match. I think this will be a filler in between one of the bigger ones. But yeah, it'll be good to see Sasha and Becky tag team together. I think that could be interesting. But yeah, after the match is where things will get good, I think.
This match seems like it's designed with a curveball in mind. I figure Naomi and Tamina are going to win, and that'll come down to Cameron's interference. If you guys follow Naomi on Twitter, she posted a picture of her and Tamina along with Cameron, and hinted very strongly that they were getting back together. So maybe they're bringing Cameron in as the replacement for Sasha. Either way, I see the distraction costing Sasha and Becky the match, and they'll probably turn on each other to go into Mania.
And let me just add to this. Beanbags has thrown some comments in the live chat as well, and he's saying that Naomi and Tamina have to win just because it adds more depth to the Divas division. If you have Naomi and Tamina lose, then that just makes the division look weaker. Banks and Lynch are already made. So do you think WWE is looking at it that way as well, with the idea that they need to make this division stronger?
No, not in the slightest.
Okay.
I figure they're only giving Naomi and Tamina the win just because they need a reason for Sasha and Becky to fight again. And set up that match at Mania, assuming it's going to be a triple threat with Charlotte for the title. Like maybe Sasha and Becky can get their comeuppance against Naomi and Tamina later on, like the Raw after, or somewhere between then and Mania. But here, I figure Cameron's coming back to the main roster pretty soon. This is a good way to make it happen.
Just flip the coin, though. Like, I think it might be about raising the stock and the importance of how big that triple threat would be. Maybe that's the idea of it, instead of worrying about Naomi and Tamina, who, Naomi has been delivering good matches. Tamina, I haven't seen a great match from her. why don't you have them lose in a decent tag match and have the stock of Becky and Sasha raised, so at least that WrestleMania match, they might get 15 minutes or 20 minutes and actually have a good match. That's what I'm hoping, that it's all about boosting the stock. I think that has to be what it is.
And I agree with that. Just because WrestleMania 32 is, less than 50 days away or something like that. So, because we're building towards that, to put more depth into the Divas division isn't necessarily the priority right now. The priority right now is to build that WrestleMania 32 match and, keeping Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch looking strong, with some, arguments between the two or something to continue to show that they're not necessarily on the same page. I think that's a better scenario for the next pay-per-view.
A loss here wouldn't ruin that match, though. They're made either way. That match is getting 20 minutes either way. Because the audience wouldn't stand for anything less. Losing to Naomi and Tamina doesn't mean anything.
Well, but
I don't want to be thinking...
Yeah.
I don't want to be thinking that Sasha and Becky lost to Naomi and Tamina a month out till WrestleMania when you could have this big match. Like, if these guys get a decent amount of time at WrestleMania in a triple threat, they're thinking, like, what can we do to be like take over Brooklyn? What do we have to do to be that good? And they need to be looking strong. There needs to be gravity behind it. And, Royal Rumble planted the seed, and this just reinforces it. I think that Naomi and Tamina, they can go into SummerSlam with some stock. At the moment, it is that match. There's no decent matches built up for Mania at this point.
No.
Where usually they're built out from Royal Rumble. There's nothing really built. So they need something. So let them look as strong can be.
If Naomi and Tamina were to beat Sasha and Becky clean with no outside interference, then yes, you guys have a point. That would hurt Sasha and Becky. That's not going to happen. I am 99% sure that Cameron is making an appearance in this match. So that would be outside interference, a distraction win. That doesn't hurt Sasha and Becky at all.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I see your point. I hope you're wrong. I truly do. But if you're right, you're right. And then I have to apologize and say you were right. And then there's tears and
you only get one apology. You can't ask an apology for every single match. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna also go with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. That seems to be generally where the live chat is outside of beanbags. AJ Styles versus Jericho versus Miz. This is a match that it seems like we're all looking forward to. Any chance AJ Styles loses?
No, not unless they're going to redo this match like with some like in a gimmick match at Mania. I can't see it happen.
Okay,
the chance is disturbingly high, simply because Jericho's involved, and I know at least he, if not Vince as well, would think that Jericho winning and having a singles match against AJ would be huge for the new guy. That would suck. I could see them going that way. So I am voting with my heart that AJ Styles wins.
I'm going for Jericho. And it's not because I want Jericho to win. I think with my heart of hearts, and this is again hoping for WrestleMania, that AJ is going to get screwed by Kevin Owens. Because Kevin Owens does what he wants, and I think that's the WrestleMania match that a lot of people want to see. So have Jericho or The Miz. I literally just picked them at random, but I hope that AJ gets screwed out of this so we can have an IC match with AJ Styles, and that'll be absolutely awesome.
So
that's my hope.
As far as placement on the card, do you see this coming after the IC title match?
Yeah. I think you'll either have... the more I look at it, I think the IC match will probably open the show because they've opened how many shows with Kevin Owens and Ziggler, and it's done a good job. So it makes sense. Have Owens win early, and then he can screw over AJ Styles because they planted seeds for this at the Rumble.
Okay. Yeah, I do like that idea. Live chat seems to mostly be on the AJ Styles side. We also have Miz, just to throw a monkey wrench in there, because that's what Beanbags does. I'm going to go with AJ Styles as well. I can't see them having him lose here, but I do like the scenario of Kevin Owens getting involved either during this match or shortly afterwards, or next night on Raw or something. I think that's a beautiful title match for WrestleMania, and actually that would make WrestleMania a must see. I think, at least from my perspective.
Oh, you give them 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and they'll steal the show, no question. Even 15 minutes, they'll steal the show. Yeah, they're both amazing guys, so, AJ is falling into the WWE faster than most people who have come from other places, because he's that good, so those two together would be sick.
Okay. Next up, we have Usos versus the Dudleys. Who you guys got?
I think it's pretty easy to say the Dudleys, because they're getting over their new we're not doing tables gimmick. And if you give them the win, then it gives the Usos the rubber match for WrestleMania. And with the stories that Dudleys have always said they wanted to work with, or have been saying they've always wanted to work with the Usos, they think it'd be a great match. Fast Lane, then WrestleMania, I think would be a beautiful piece of work for them. So, yeah. So Dudleys get this win.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is still part of the establishment of Dudley Boys being the heels. So they'll be doing everything they can to build as much heat as they can. But yeah, I think Dudley Boys, and then rubber match at Mania, probably. Maybe TLC match or something like that as a gimmick, but I don't know. We'll see how the story develops with the anti-tables thing. So,
yeah, I'm right there with you guys. It's got to be a Dudley's win. I would imagine the Usos are going to be selling like they're still hurt, so that'll be easy pickings for the Dudleys. I think there'll still be some kind of schmozzy finish where they employ heel tactics to get one over on the Usos, but yeah, it's a foregone conclusion in my mind.
Okay. In the live chat, what about this matchup, WrestleMania 32 matchup, a rematch, Usos versus Dudleys, and Usos force a tables match? Do you think that's potentially in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're going to have to force the Dudleys into a tables match. Maybe that match at WrestleMania could be a tables match. Or the right for a match at TLC, something like that. In a tables match show if they win at WrestleMania, something like that.
We could see the New Day get involved with this. Who knows? Like, the only way we'll defend our titles if it's a tables match or something. I don't know. Just saying. Like, it could be something like that because the New Day don't really have an angle at the moment, and they're going to need one for WrestleMania. But I think we'll see that in the Cutting Edge Peep show where that's headed.
Yeah, well, let's. I'm sorry. I'm also going to go with the Dudley Boys. It seems the Dudley Boys win is being forecasted by the live chat as well. But let's dive into New Day on the Cutting Edge Peep show. What are you guys expecting?
Just witty repartee, really. I mean, New Day can't really attack Edge and Christian because, well, Edge can't take a bump at this point or risk paralysis, as they've said, and Christian, I don't even know why he went out. I mean, the injuries of some
concussions. It was lots of concussions.
So yeah, there's another person you can't attack, really. And what does that leave you?
Well, who's going to be more entertaining? Because historically we always look at Edge and Christian as a funny duo. New Day obviously is hilarious. So is there a clear-cut winner on that side of things as far as who's going to be more entertaining, Edge and Christian or the New Day?
I think it's really going to come down to personal preference. They're both on top of their game.
Okay, so what's your personal preference, do you think?
I'm going to have to go New Day because we've seen a lot of... I mean, Edge and Christian are basically... While they can come up with new humor, a lot of it they're rehashing. At least the segments I've seen where they've had interactions. You know, where New Day had the trombones, they pulled out the old kazoo again. Edge and Christian had. You know, it's like... Yeah, at least New Day's trying something new.
Yeah, fresh, and they're more in touch with the latest generation as well. So, you know, I think for us to debate who's going to be more entertaining is a little bit silly, but yeah.
How dare you?
New Day will do something. It is a bit weird, but yeah, New Day for sure will blow them out of the water. But it's all about an angle. This has to be a setup for WrestleMania. I don't see it being any other way. There'll be jokes and lots of stuff, and then a tag team of some description will come down to start something. Who though? Like what? The Ascension? Lucha Dragons? Who? No one's
Team
gonna
Hype.
jump in on the joke there. Just leave me alone there.
Team Hype.
Do you see this happening in the third hour?
Nah, I figured they'll get this out of the way early. Because this isn't going anywhere beyond just a plug for their network show. So, I figure it's going to be great. Edge and Christian will probably get the nod as far as who, quote-unquote, won. This isn't going to be a landslide victory like Bo Rida over Flo Rida. But, yeah, it is going to come down to personal preference as far as who was funnier.
Do you think this is going to happen after the tag team match between Dudleys and Usos?
Nah, I figure the tag team match will happen later on down the card.
Okay. And also throw Enzo and Kaz as possibles. There's been a lot of talk about them being called up.
But aren't they going to be having... But is a provisional card for NXT TakeOver in Dallas? Isn't that going to be the Mechanics versus Enzo and Cass again? That seems what they're building towards.
I think that remains to be seen. I figure we're going to get sort of a showdown between Enzo and Cass and American Alpha.
Okay. The good thing is it's open. There's options open. They've got plenty of ways they can go. And I refuse to read the spoilers, so I'm avoiding them like the plague.
Good.
Same here.
As we all do. Okay, next up, Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC title. Any chance that Dolph Ziggler walks out with the title?
Nope. Win, Owens win.
Nick's right.
Yeah, it's going to be Owens, but there's going to be at least 50,000 super kicks in this match.
Okay,
Sean, don't you dare ruin this.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's no way that they put the title on Dolph. But okay, let's move on from that.
Did we lose?
I think we lost Sean, but that's fine.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. No arguments then.
Nick, are you here?
Yeah, everyone's here.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
I'm not editing this out. I'm not writing this down. A Divas Championship. Charlotte defends against Brie Bella. This is an interesting matchup only because it was just announced on whatever that show was. Good Morning America or something. Brie Bella announced her eventual retirement this summer, basically. So, with the idea that Brie Bella is going to be gone, what better way to send her off than to put the title on her? Do you guys agree with that general idea that that's probably where WWE is going to go? Are they going to take the title off of Charlotte?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope not. Not with Brie.
Brie is the most over she's ever been because her husband retired.
Because her husband retired and her sister is hurt. I mean,
it takes that.
That doesn't bode well for someone.
Well, and you gotta also think she's never been over at all with the crowd except for her partnership with Daniel Bryan. That's the reason why anyone seemingly likes her.
She had crowd support going into that match with Stephanie at SummerSlam. Like, the month or two going into that, she was legitimately over to some degree. There have been points where she's been able to get some momentum going on her own merits. It's just, ever since that feud with Nikki, that just let all the air out of her tires.
Has she ever been champion?
I'm looking that up right now, and I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
No,
she has.
Oh, yeah, she has been. She has been champion. She was champion for 70 days in 2011.
Okay, that was the only argument I had for her to win, was to give her the belt before she, leaves. Which I thought, she'd win, she'd then retire, vacate the title, and then it's an open title for Mania. That was the thought I had. But
I think winning the title here would put her at 2 reigns, the same
Correct.
as Nikki. So, I mean, I can easily see the WWE saying, hey, there's going to be a huge sympathy boost for her, and hey, twinsies.
Yeah, twin magic right there. Yeah, I mean, I'm basing this on Wikipedia. I don't remember her being champion. She held the championship after Eve Torres, but I don't see why. I don't see if she defeated Eve Torres. I don't know. I don't know how that worked out.
I don't remember. I think she was Divas champion when Karma was around.
She was Divas champion when the People Power thing was going on.
Oh, I missed that.
I don't remember that intersected with Karma.
No, I don't remember either. So, yeah. So, okay. I think pretty much we're all in agreement except for you, Joe. You are wanting Charlotte to win. You see Charlotte defending successfully.
Yes.
Okay. And really, that leads us to the main event. Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns. The winner will go on to WrestleMania 32 to face Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So, who you guys got? Nick?
I'm going to go with Ambrose, and this is where earlier comments come into play. At some point during the match, I think Lesnar's going to be doing what Lesnar does best, and that's wrecking the shit out of everybody in his way. And Ambrose is going to soften him up just enough for when the Wyatts come out. The Wyatts, having already defeated all the Titans that had been set up in their way beforehand, now go after the only one left standing, and that's Lesnar. And they remove Lesnar from play. Reigns and Ambrose go head-to-head. Ambrose wins, and he goes on to Mania.
What happens when they take Lesnar out on the stretcher and 20 minutes later, then he just comes back? Wait, I'm sorry, that's Reigns.
Yeah, Reigns gets put on the stretcher and then walks out. And then comes back 20 minutes later, yes.
Still can't believe that.
Sean, what's your thoughts?
All right. So, I don't see why they're going to stop with Reigns after how much time and effort and TV time they have put into Reigns. I think this is going to be... Actually, no, I'm going to change this because I just realized the storyline in my head doesn't coincide with my prediction. I'm going for Ambrose because Reigns is going to heel turn and then go for Taker at Mania.
Ooh.
Oh. See, I was thinking Reigns would turn heel eventually, but I figured he's just going to be siding with Triple H. That's interesting that you would say he's going to go after Taker.
But think about it. I've tried to be the champion you want to be. Instead, I'm going to end Taker's career. And then he's the big badass. And then you can actually have a heel versus babyface at Mania for Taker, because Taker has no one at the moment. And of course Taker's going to be on the card because it's Taker and it's Mania and it's his hometown. But yeah, Ambrose will win, but I think Reigns is going to then cross Ambrose, and then you have a very sympathetic Ambrose against Triple H, so they actually have someone that the crowd actually likes going into the main event, and so people don't get the shits that Reigns has been forced down people's throats. Lesnar's got the Wyatts, everyone's happy. God, I'm good.
You say everyone's happy, yet I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy with the idea of Reigns versus Taker.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy with anybody versus Taker. I mean, who's left for Taker that people want to see?
Especially
that is a fair point.
especially when this potentially could be Taker's last match. It is in his hometown. It is in, one of the biggest stadiums it is the biggest stadium that WrestleMania's ever been in. So yeah, for sure.
I think the initial plan was Cena, and then he got hurt. And then I think it was Sting, but he was hurt. And so
then it was
Reigns...
Strowman, but Taker said, fuck that.
Yeah.
The internet just went, well, we're leaving if that happens.
Yeah, nope.
Simple as that. I won't watch WrestleMania. That's a lie. That's the thing. I'm a slave to fucking WrestleMania.
And if we would have saw something like Strowman versus Taker, I imagine that Vince is just playing the role of Dark Helmet with the dolls and Spaceballs. Oh, your helmet's so big. Yeah, no, I that's got to be how Vince books nowadays.
No, it's he uses the tape of WrestleMania and he fast forwards, and then he talks with
This
Kevin.
is now.
Now? No, that was then. This is now.
That was now. Everything that's happening now is happening now.
Oh god. Yeah. I think Ambrose is going to the main event. I think if they learned anything from listening to the crowd, that reaction that Ambrose had when he was just staring down Triple H at Royal Rumble, there you go. There's your setup. That'll be a good match. And Ambrose is one of the proper clean-cut baby faces, as much as he's the lunatic fringe. Yes, it does make sense, but he's one of the clean-cut baby faces on the roster.
Cool. And I'm going with Ambrose because you guys have convinced me that's the best story.
Well, and it's odd. I mean, I'm also going to go with Ambrose. I think the live chat's going to go with Ambrose as well. It is odd, the idea that Vince and WWE in general would go against what they've been trying to do, as in, pushing Roman Reigns into that spot and finally going with what the fans want, which is Dean Ambrose. I have a hard time believing that is exactly what they would do. But, voting from the heart and predicting from the heart, yeah, I have to go with Dean Ambrose as well. I think he would be a perfect opponent for Triple H.
I get the feeling that they're still going to be using Reigns in a big way. I'm not sold on Reigns versus Taker yet, but I figure a heel turn from Reigns has got to be in the cards. And the natural alignment would be with the Authority, in my mind. So, I do not see... Let me backtrack. When Ambrose goes and faces Triple H, if he does win and takes a title, I don't see him holding on to it for long. I see Reigns taking him out. Storyline injury. And then Rollins comes back. Reigns plays the heel, plays the Authority's golden boy, and Rollins is the big babyface.
But the issue with that is why? Why would the Authority back him at this point? I mean, they did offer him that spot after Seth Rollins went down, but he rejected them, and then he has lost potentially, some big matches like this one. So why would they back a loser?
Because Kevin Nash told them to.
I've got an alternate idea. Okay, so you could have Reigns win this at Fast Lane and buy in, or whatever you want to say, go with the Authority with Vince, and Triple H can create an angle where it's NXT and invasion-ish style. This is one I've heard a few times. So, you have Reigns go with Vince, Triple H goes, well, and my guys in NXT are better, because NXT is by far the better product at the moment anyway, and then that way you can set up for a live or whatever, a 2-hour NXT show every week and have them intertwining to build it up.
But they wouldn't set that up at WrestleMania, would they?
Crazy things have happened at Mania.
Man,
I don't see Triple H turning face like that.
But he's a face in NXT.
Yeah, but there's a very sharp divide between NXT Triple H and main roster Triple H.
That's what I mean, though. They can coincide it. It's there in front of them.
I don't like that. I don't like the fact that he's playing two different characters on two different products, but I don't like... It comes off as Triple H trying to play both sides of the field just to get a pop. I don't think it'd feel genuine.
Yeah. It's just a theory, but they can't ignore NXT for much longer how big it's getting. Now they're touring. They just can't. The main roster or WWE needs to acknowledge how big it is and how big the main talent is, like Samoa Joe and stuff. They have to. So, and they're not calling up people very quickly. Sami Zayn's been in WWE a couple of times, and Tyler Breeze, that went really well for him. Neville, that went really well for him. Lucha Dragons is the biggest success story apart from Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is it, but he was kind of made before he even got here. What do you do?
Shield.
Well,
That was FCW.
And you can argue Big E as well.
Shield was FCW. Come on.
yeah, but Nick, you're talking technicalities. It's not, Big E. Yes, he was in NXT, but he wasn't in NXT when NXT was big. Same thing for the Shield. Shield, yes, of course, they all started in NXT, but they don't necessarily represent NXT to what it is right now.
Not anymore, but then again, neither does Neville. Neither do any of the guys other than who just recently came up.
Okay, so
They still
think about
count.
it. Think about it. You think of Seth Rollins. You think Tyler Black. Dean Ambrose. John Moxley. Roman Reigns, meh. Don't know what he was previously called. So, not going to even
Leaki.
go there. Is that really? And that's horrible. Kevin Steen.
That's Samoan.
Kevin Owens. Samoa Joe's been Samoa Joe. Prince Devitt. These are easy. So, but I just think they can't ignore the success for much longer. Because the way that they're condescending, and it seems like they're almost purposefully condescending to NXT, where you've got Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, who are probably better workers than 90% of WWE roster anyway. Because
Yeah, I mean, you're not
they've been
wrong.
doing it for so long. So
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong as far as the level of talent that is in NXT. Outside of the Balor Club actually becoming an entity, I don't see any sort of invasion going on. Something tells me that the WWE has learned its lesson with those sorts of factions, because Nexus, yeah, that was big initially, but then all the momentum just ran out, and then the core, that went nowhere. So I would think that they're leery of that, especially given how other such instances have gone down in other parts of the industry.
But that's
TNA tries this at least once a year, and it ends up fizzling out.
But
okay,
that's
but
the thing.
TNA isn't the poster boy for success stories. Like, like really?
But that's the thing.
I'm saying that the
networks, is it
WWE
now?
is cognizant of how the industry is working,
Well,
and people
but-
aren't going for it.
But you're also, using historically Vince McMahon backed things as far as where NXT stands apart is, yeah, you do have that Triple H backing. So potentially, I mean, I don't agree that this is going to start now. It's not going to start at WrestleMania 32. But the idea that they would go against this, I don't see that. I think they do need to acknowledge, and they do need to bring up that, because it is way more popular, generally speaking. So
To the hardcore fan.
if they go what Vince has done in years past, the way Vince has done it in years past, yeah, it'll fail. But if they let someone else lead that charge, like a Triple H, I think it could be definitely more successful.
Let somebody else run something on Vince's show.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
hilarious.
It's absurd. It's an absurd idea, but still, I'm just saying. All right, so that's Fastlane. That's WWE Fastlane. Prediction wise, here's where we all stand. Kalisto will successfully defend the U.S. Championship in the kickoff match.
No, he won't.
Wyatt family is going to defeat Ryback, Big Show, and Kane. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch are going to defeat Naomi and Tamina. AJ Styles is going to defeat Jericho and The Miz. The Dudley Boys will go over on the Usos. Kevin Owens will be your IC champion after Fast Lane. Brie Bella will win the Divas Championship, and Dean Ambrose will be facing Triple H at WrestleMania 32 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's what our predictions are. Overall, real quickly, now that we've all talked about it, are you looking forward to Fast Lane?
Yeah, on the whole, like, due to the IC title and then the AJ Styles match, I think that's what still got me the most excited, even after discussing it, the whole card. So, but yeah, I think I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to watching.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. The main event is something I am very much looking forward to, as well as Dudleys versus Usos. As much as the Dudleys have talked about wanting this match, and I imagine it's reciprocated by the Usos, I have to imagine that those two teams are going to be putting everything they can into it, and it's going to be fun. But the official title matches on this card, I don't care that much about. And then the other filler match, whatever, it's a means to an end. So,
Yeah, look, I think that's a great way to summarize it. It's but with shows like this, they have in the past thrown out a couple of matches that have been awesome. So I'm excited to see which one will surprise me. I think this AJ Styles Jericho Miz thing, as much as Jericho, Nick, I know that you're not big on him, and look, him on the mic, he's a little bit outdated, but that second match that AJ Styles and Jericho had was fantastic. So, I think that's gonna be really, really good. I think that Kevin Owens and Ziggler will step it up as they always do. And I hope to be pleasantly surprised in the main event, because Brock doing suplexes and being a boss man will be great. And then this character change or development with Ambrose and Reigns should be really interesting as well. Something has to give. Something has to change. So this whole buddies with Ambrose and Reigns, it doesn't make sense anymore. They don't need to do it.
Yeah, and that is a good thing that they've done, is that they are hinting at that. Like, they've been saying all along, they got no problem fighting each other. They just also have no problem coming back together after they're done fighting each other. But, Ambrose did go for dirty deeds on Reigns. And, they smiled and bumped fists afterwards, but, it's on their minds. They can't trust each other anymore. So I enjoyed the way they built that up.
Oh,
and
that was great.
You are absolutely
that was
right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You are right. Jericho did step it up in that second match against AJ. I can't take that away from him. It was a better match. And it's going to be better with the Miz involved, just because, the more guys you have involved in the match, yeah, it makes planning out the match a little bit more complex and difficult, but it also takes a load off of each individual guy a bit. So, I think, technically speaking, as far as mechanics go, it's not going to be a bad match. And the same goes for Owens versus Ziggler. Those two do well with one another. With that said, it's my personal interest, it's just not there. Same with Kalisto versus ADR. Should be a great match, aside from the eventual usage of that awful double foot stomp. But, I'm ready for that one to end.
I think that's just the typical case of WWE putting on the same match too many times. Kalisto and ADR initially was great. It was good, but then you see it so much. It's saying with Titus and Stardust, you get over seeing it, and there's only so much they can do with the PG rating. They can't really change much. They can't go more violent. There's no blood. They can't make it more dramatic. So 2 out of 3 falls, good show. That'll be great. But there's a reason why it's on the pre-show.
Okay. Yeah, overall, the card itself, nothing stands out as, amazing. Yeah, obviously, the AJ Styles, the way that they've been pushing him, it makes it interesting for sure. 2 out of 3 falls match, Kalisto and ADR. I think, we should see some really good things from Kalisto. Kevin Owens versus Ziggler, I think, will be a good match as well. But it's not necessarily about the matches themselves at Fastlane. It's how they're going to transition from this to WrestleMania. And it's hard not to get excited that we are so close to WrestleMania, that this is like WrestleMania season And yeah, so I think Fastlane is going to be a good pay-per-view, not necessarily because of what we're going to see, as far as this being the climax of a lot of these stories, but just how it leads to the next thing, which is WrestleMania.
Here's a quick question. Who's going to be the first person at Fastlane to point at the WrestleMania sign?
Ryback.
Yeah.
Charles Robinson.
I can see that.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I'm going with Ryback. His dream of being the John Cena. The next John Cena.
Okay, that's Fastlane. That is our preview. Let's go ahead and get into win, fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here is your win
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
of the week. For those joining the conversation for the first time, hello.
Hi.
Win Fail is our chance to acknowledge both the best and worst things that happened this week in WWE. Joe, what is your win of the week?
My win of the week is the announcement. WWE put out a press release today. They're adding a cruiserweight show to the network in July, and it's something we've talked about for a very, very long time. So I'm excited. It's something we've wanted for a long time. So hey, we're going to get it, and it'll be decent.
Okay, well, for me, my win was the Fatal 5-Way. Surprising. One, I've never seen a Fatal 5-Way. I can't actually remember a Fatal 5-Way, and it being called a Fatal 5-Way. But it was good. The chemistry was great. There was a couple little things that looked like they were a little bit lost, but overall it was great, and it was awesome to see Kevin Owens have a belt on him again, because he's better with a belt than without one.
I'm going to give my win to NXT, specifically the non-wrestling portions of it. It seems like every single segment, every single promo that was delivered was on point. At the very least, some of them were outright spectacular, like Enzo and Cass and American Alpha talking up their match next week. That was spectacular. I'm very intrigued by Apollo Crews, what this new version of him is going to be, and Joe and Sammy hyping up their match next week as well. Excellent promos.
Yeah.
We got some wins from the live chat. Raw. Apparently Raw was good. Kevin Owens becoming a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. We also have wins for The Miz, wins for AJ Styles, some wins for Lucha Underground. And we're going to talk a little bit about this in the Squared Circle of Trust episode we're going to release this week. But I agree, Lucha Underground. I finally saw the last two episodes, so episode 2 and 3. Very good stuff. As far as the WWE side, though, I'm with you, Nick. There's a lot of good things still happening in NXT. So good stuff. So,
also, honorary mention. Thank you, Beanbags, for reminding me. At Dallas Comic-Con, the little panel with Stardust and Stephen Amell. That was fantastic. If you haven't seen it, the WWE's posted it all over their social media. It's like 8 minutes long, and it's fantastic. Stardust is simply amazing in his role, as per usual. They hyped up the charity that they've been raising for one of their Clash of Clans clan members, who I can't recall what exactly is going down with him, but he's seriously ill. And it's a great segment all around. You really should give it a watch.
okay. Fails of the week, Joe. What's your fail of the week?
My fail of the week is the Brie Bella Charlotte segment. It just came off really rough, and I just don't feel Brie needs a title shot for her husband retiring and her sister getting hurt.
Yeah, mine was the main event of Raw, Strowman versus Big Show. Not cool. Not announcing what the main event was. They said what that match was happening. They didn't say when. It's like they sneakily were like, have fun with this main event, but we're not going to tell you until the last 20 minutes. It was crap. There was no build to the end of the show. There was no reason for me to keep watching. And so I stopped watching. And that's bad. They did not have me with that match. If they put that in the middle of the card, I would have got through the however long it was and kept going. But for them to build up to that, for that to be the main event, not interested.
Yeah. I've got a two-parter. First of all, again from NXT, I don't know what the hell is going on with Elias Sampson. I don't understand how somebody that naturally gifted and talented in the ring can be so bland. There's nothing to him except that he could pull off a really amazing Macho Man impersonation if he really wanted to, I suspect. But, there's nothing to the guy. The whole drifter gimmick, I'm with the crowd. Drift away. I don't care. And also, did nobody backstage ever utter the words Fatal 5-Way until Stephanie walked out into the ring and said it aloud? Because that is the most awkward thing to ever say. Commentary, every single time they said Fatal 5-Way, they had to stop themselves from saying Fatal 4-Way.
That's only because of conditioning, but the Fatal whatever, I mean, that's been our WWE staple for, ages. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not outside their realm.
Yeah, but it's awkward.
It's not like Fatal Cheddar Cheese. No.
Fatal 2-Way.
Fatal Cheddar Cheese is that's easier to say than Fatal 5-Way.
Fatal 5-Way, Fatal 5-Way, Fatal 5-Way, Fatal 5-Way, Fatal 5-Way.
Ooh, snap.
Suck it.
Damn. Silence.
Okay.
Owned,
Some
Nick.
fails
Owned.
from the live chat. We've got fail from Diva Jill.
Damn it, I was muted.
JBL. Diva Jill's not happy with JBL. We also have fail to the injuries, that they're still happening way too often, like we talked about with Mark Henry. And yeah, I think that's it.
And that's actually interesting with the injuries. It was scary seeing Finn Balor he twisted his ankle, sprained his ankle.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was terrifying. I was like, no, don't take Finn. Take anyone but Finn. We need him. But no, I think he'll be fine come Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see him wrestle much though.
All right, so that was win and fail of the week. Any final thoughts before we head out, Joe?
I could use a nap.
You got it, sir. Nick?
Can't wait for NXT Dallas. Fuck yeah, Nakamura.
Sean?
No, I've ranted enough. But
Okay.
yes, Nakamura, awesome.
Yeah, that should be awesome. If you've tuned in live, you guys are great. Obviously, we really do love the live chat. Starting in March, though, we're going to be taking the live show to the Squared Circle of Trust, so it is going to be behind the Patreon pledge levels. Haven't totally worked out how we're going to do this yet. I tested some things over the weekend that failed, but it's going to happen. So if you want to keep joining us each and every week here on the live recording, all you got to do is become a member of the Squared Circle of Trust. And to do that, just go to squaredcircleoftrust.com and pledge. You can find more about us and what we do at fanstalkprowrestling.com. For Nick, Joe, Sean, everyone in the live chat, we will see you next Tuesday. Later. Fans Talk Pro Wrestling is part of the Fans Talk podcast family. It can be found at fanstalkpodcast.com. The Fans Talk podcast family is a subsidiary of Tigar Creative LLC.